Our muscles don't understand reps and sets. They don't even understand exercises. All they understand is tension. The amount of tension and the amount of time we place them under this tension. And it's this time element, aka tempo, that is one of the main reasons why two people can follow the exact same reps and set schemes and get vastly different results. Tempo is usually delineated by 4 numbers grouped by dashes. The first number represents the number of seconds for the phase of movement where the muscles lengthen. Think of the lowering part of a deadlift. This is the eccentric phase where most of the muscle damage that leads to the muscle growth happens. By making this part of a movement last longer, we skew towards hypertrophy. And this step is made perhaps a little bit more interesting considering we're up to 30% stronger in the eccentric part of a movement. This is why negatives, where solely eccentrics are done for reps, are so effective, especially for movements that we can't fully do yet. The second number represents the pause after the lengthening phase. Here, the muscles are in the stretched position, and by holding the stretch for a second, we affect something called the stretch shortening cycle. Simply put, if we think about our muscles like elastic bands, when they stretch under load, it triggers a neurological response to try and get them back to their normal length. This makes it easy to bounce between reps. By pausing, we interrupt this process and make contracting the muscles far harder. Now, why would we want to do this? Well, firstly, because we have disrupted the stretch shortening cycle, we need to consciously produce more force to get us out of this lengthened position. To produce more force, we need to drive more tension through the muscle, which ultimately has muscle building benefits, and pause reps do this extremely effectively, challenging us both physically and mentally. And secondly, this part of a rep is particularly important for calisthenics skills because as calisthenics athletes, we regularly demand that our muscles create significant force while in the lengthened position. So pausing here can add far more skill specificity to our training. The third number refers to the shortening of the muscle, the concentric. The faster we contract a muscle, the more motor units need to be recruited in order to produce the force to do this. Sometimes this number is simply represented as X, which simply means contract the muscle as explosively as we can. Moving slowly or quickly during the concentric of a rep can literally affect the type of muscles that we end up recruiting. Slower contractions typically favor recruitment of the smaller type 1 fibers, and explosive contractions favor the larger type 2 and type 2X muscle fibers. The final number illustrates the pause in the shortened position. Similar to the second number, this pause can sometimes occur where we're weakest. Think of the top of a leg raise where we only really work on the rectus abdominis in that final part of the rep. Spending more time here means that we can get more used to creating force in this range of motion, meaning that the overall efficiency of the movement becomes better over time, and we work the muscles that we actually intend to. So with all of this information about tempo in mind, which is better, fast or slow reps? Well, it kind of depends. There are benefits to slow reps, especially when learning new movements and fully realizing what muscles need to be worked to build strength in challenging ranges. If we have a goal that requires us to perform a movement fast, such as a muscle up, we only build that pulling power by training our pull-ups with speed. But there's one more thing to consider with all of this. We could slow down an eccentric to make sure that we're getting that stretch in the muscle that leads to muscle damage. We could perform a pause rep to make sure that we're interrupting that stretch shortening cycle. Or we could even contract our muscles extremely quickly in those explosive reps to recruit more of those type 2X muscle fibers and do all of this and still not build any strength or muscle size. Why? Well, because the two most important things when it comes to hypertrophy are that we get close to muscular failure and that we increase our total volume, so reps times sets times weight, over time. We need to be disciplined with our reps and the tempo of our reps so that we are comparing apples with apples. Increasing our reps might not always be a good thing if we had to increase the speed of our reps to get to that rep PB number. And increasing the speed of our reps might not always be a good thing if we've had to drastically lower the weight in order to produce that power. When programming, be conscious of tempo and how it slots in with the exercises that we select. And if you want to understand how to periodize your own programs, then check out this video right here.